Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're back with another fashion finesse. This time we are going to be making a three-piece set out of this blanket. I love making outfits out of blankets, so I'm super excited. I bought this for like $5 at Walmart. So yeah, I only got one. You might need one or two depending on what size you're making, but one was enough to make a size small. So let's get it. Okay guys, so these are the items we're going to be using to make this video. The most important thing is really the pants, the blanket, the bucket hat, or a bucket hat pattern. You guys, you literally could just Google bucket hat patterns and you could print them out online. You can find some on YouTube. There's so many out here. If you don't have a pattern or you're not able to print one out, you literally could just measure a bucket hat that you already have. So it's really three pieces. So you have the brim, then you have the headband, and you have the circle part. So the bottom part is the brim part. So you're going to need to measure the length and the width. And for the headband part, you're also going to be doing the same thing, measuring the length and the width. I can't talk. Okay. And you're just going to take those measurements and make a pattern out of it. For the circle part, you're just going to also just measure the length or the width of that, probably just the length, yes. And then you're just going to cut out a pattern and you could use that to make your bucket hats. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to be making the pants first. So I just fold my blanket in half and I'm going to just trace out the pants pattern. Okay, you want to make sure everything is lined up, you know, it's lined up perfectly. And honestly, you don't need anything to trace, but I just want to make sure I got, like, you know, the right shape and pattern. Remember to leave room for seam allowance and everything. So yeah, just you really have to make sure everything is laying perfectly flat so you could get the right measurement. Okay, and then I am going to just cut that out. And remember, so you're gonna need two pieces for the front and you're gonna need two back pieces. Okay, the back piece and the front piece are not the same measurements, so you're gonna need to flip your pants. Okay, make sure you know have two front, two back. Okay, so right now that is what I have. Once I cut it out, just two pieces that I am going to put right side facing each other. So you want to line up everything perfectly together. Okay, so that is what I'm doing, just lining all the pieces up together so I could sew. And we're going to pin that, and that is the part we're going to sew. Okay, and as you can see, I have two front and two back, so four pieces all together, right side facing each other, that I am just going to pin and I am going to sew. And you're going to do the same thing to the other piece. Okay, you guys, super simple and easy. And be careful with the pins because this is so soft and fluffy or whatever. The pins do get lost and it's just a lot. But yeah, just be careful. Okay, so now I am just going to my sewing machine and I am going to sew the crouch part. I mean, not the crouch part, but the part that I pinned and sew. And I'm just really just doing a basic straight stitch. Okay, and we're going to sew all the way down along that curved part. So make sure you're following the shape of your pattern. You know, just sew along the pattern. And I did the same thing to the other piece. Okay, you guys, and I also did go back in and do a zigzag stitch just to like secure the stitch so it can have a cleaner finished look. But yeah, so once everything was sewn, I am lining everything up right side facing each other, the pants leg, the crouch. This is very important. Okay, you want to make sure everything is lined up perfectly. Okay, so that is what I'm doing. I'm going to line everything up and I am going to pin everything. Take your time, don't rush, and then pin, and then we're going to sew. Okay, and that is how it looked after I sewn everything together. And now we are going to add elastic around the waist. You just want to make a fold hem all the way around and you're going to pin. You want to make sure that the tunnel that you make is big enough to fit the elastic, and you also want to leave an opening so you can fit the elastic through. But yeah, so you're just going to pin all the way around like I'm doing. And then so for this, I just did a zigzag stitch all the way around. You could do a straight stitch, but I find the zigzag stitch was so much better. and it just gives it like a cleaner finished look and makes it thicker. So yeah, and then also remember to leave your opening. And now I am going to add the elastic through. So I am just going to pin one side down with a pin like so. And then I am going to add elastic, not elastic. I'm going to add safety pin to the other end, and I am going to feed it through the opening, okay? This is super easy. I do this all the time, you guys. So yeah, that's what I'm doing, just getting the elastic in, and make sure you know it's not twisting or turning. So like take your time with this too. Once the elastic is in, you're just going to sew the two pieces together. I do a straight stitch, then I cut the elastic off and trim off the excess threads, and I go back in and do a zigzag stitch too. Okay, I need this to be really secure because we're stretching the elastic a lot. You don't want this to pop out of place or, you know, break or anything like that. So I always try to make sure it's extra secure. Okay, so once you sew the two elastic ends together and clean it off, you could just go ahead and put the elastic back in and sew that opening. I always pin the elastic in place because the last thing I want to do is accidentally sew it when I'm trying to close the opening. So I put a safety pin or a pin to keep it in place, and I'm just gonna finish off with a zigzag stitch, okay? And that's really it. Okay, so once you do the zigzag stitch, you're basically done. And for the pants leg, I just did a zigzag stitch at the bottom of the pants leg, and I'm done. Okay, that is it. And we're going to move on to the bucket hat. Okay, so I'm cutting out my circle part, and for the brim and the headband, you want to fold your fabric in half because you want to make sure it's laying on the fold. Okay, and you're gonna cut out 2 pieces of the headband and 4 pieces of the brim. Okay, so make sure it's at the fold. Fold the fabric in half and put it at the fold. Okay, so these are all the pieces that I have. Okay, and then we're just going to sew them together. So you really should have something like this. So now we are taking the headband part. Okay, we're gonna put right side facing each other, and we are going to pin the sides down, and we are going to do a straight stitch all the way down. Okay, all the way down to sew the headband part together. And you're gonna do the same thing to the other side. You know, just a regular straight stitch, and make sure everything is lined up together, because the last thing you want to do is, you know, sew and then you didn't catch all the fabric together. Just make sure it's lined up perfectly so you can get it right the first time. Okay, so that is how it looks, and I'm just trimming off the extra fabric. You could go back in and do a zigzag stitch just to keep it in place so we can have, you know, a nicer clean finished look. Okay, so now I'm just gonna take the circle top part, and mind you, everything is turned inside out. Okay, so the right side is in and the wrong side is facing out, and you're just going to line everything up together, and you're going to pin around the top. Take your time with doing this, you know, make sure everything is lined up because this is very important. Okay, if this doesn't work, you have to start all over. Okay, so yeah, you should have something like this once you pinned it. Okay, so it would really look like this when you turn it back right side out. So if it looks like that, you're doing good. Keep going. Okay, so now we're just going to do a straight stitch all the way around. Also take your time when you are sewing this. Don't try to rush. Depending on what type of fabric you're using, like this is very fluffy and messy, and it just gets messy. So you just want to take your time. Don't try to rush because you don't want to mess up and have to, you can't even seam rip this. Okay, like once you sew this, there's no going back. Okay, so yeah, that is how it looks. So we're gonna flip it right side out again, and it should look like this, and everything is sewn perfectly. This is what you're going for. So now we are going to work on the headband. Okay, so now you're just gonna do the same thing, right side facing each other. You should have for these pieces, once you put them together, you have two right side facing each other, and you're just going to do a straight stitch on each side. Okay, you guys, simple. Once you cut the pieces, all your pattern out for the bucket hat, it's really easy to just sew it. You know, I love making these. Okay, super easy. So once you sew each side, you're gonna repeat it to the other piece. And you can also go back in and do a zigzag stitch to just secure it so it can have a nicer finished look, you know, so it's really up to you. Once you finish sewing both sides, you should have two circles, like two donuts that you're going to put together right side facing each other, and you're just going to sew around the top part, okay, the top front part. Not the middle circle, the first outer circle, okay? So you just want to line everything up, make sure it's even, perfect, everything lined up together. This is so important, you guys, because it could throw your whole bucket hat off if it's not the same length, if, you know, things are not lining up perfectly, okay? I don't want you guys wasting your time and messing up and then having to redo this. That's why I'm telling y'all, just take your time. Okay, and then I'm just doing a straight stitch all the way around the top part of the hat. So this is the brim part. Okay, once you sew it, you're going to turn it right side back out. So you should have something like this, you guys. And this is where people add, if you look at your bucket hat, depending on what type of bucket hat you have, people add extra stitch to make the brim part a little thick. But because this fabric was kind of thick anyway, I am just going to do a straight stitch at the, basically going over the stitch that I did, okay, at the edge part, just so it can lay flatter, if that makes any sense. So I'm just going over the top part. Yeah, just, I noticed that it helps it lay flatter and it's more sturdier. Okay, so that is how it looks. Now you're going to take the top piece and then you're going to put it inside that circle piece, okay, and you're going to flip it down, if that makes any sense, okay, and you're going to pin all the way around. That is how it looks, and you're just going to turn it upside down basically, and that is how you're going to sew it. So once you pin all the way around, and I'm going to say it again, make sure everything is lined up perfectly, you know, everything is together, and then you're going to do a straight stitch all the way around. I mean, you could do a zigzag stitch if you want to, but I like the straight stitch for this. Okay, so you're gonna do that all the way around, you guys. And once you do that, you're basically done with the bucket hat, you guys. That is it. So for the extra, I had like extra piece of scrap fabric left. I thought it'd be cute to make like a little matching bralette. So I had a top that fits the way I like, and I used that to cut out two triangular pieces. And I got a bottom piece, and now I'm just looking through my scraps trying to get, you know, the straps for it. So I need front straps and back straps, okay? So for the two triangular pieces, I just went around it and did a zigzag stitch all the way around just to keep it from fraying, and made it a little bit more sturdy. And that bottom band piece, I'm just going to put the triangle pieces in between and kind of make like a, you know, like a hot dog folded in half, like a bun type thing. And I did also went ahead and sew the triangle pieces together just so they could stay in place and not move when I was sewing. Felt like it made it 10 times better. And I'm just going to lay that in between my little rectangular strap fabric, and you want to make sure everything is lined up, okay? I cannot stress this enough. Make sure everything is lined up so you're not just sewing one side down, okay? So I am just going to pin and just keep everything in place, and then we're just going to sew. I ended up just doing a zigzag stitch all the way down. Like, I just love using a zigzag stitch. But yeah, so just did a zigzag stitch, making sure everything is in. So you're sewing both sides together, okay? So that is how it looks so far. Now it is time to add the strap pieces and the back piece. Okay, so I'm just going to insert that inside my little tunnel and going to do a straight stitch to keep it together. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. You know, just inserting it inside the little tunnel. Make sure right side is facing out. You know, you're not using the wrong side. And then you're going to add the top straps, and it should look like this. Once you sew everything, you're done, okay? And boom, that is how it turned out, you guys. I am so obsessed with this 3-piece set. Oh my god, like, I'm so proud of myself because it just turned out so good and I really love it, okay? And since it's a little chilly outside, I decided to pair it with like a black blazer that I got from the thrift store. But you could wear this however you want without the blazer, and you could wear this anywhere, to festivals, anywhere, okay? I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. That is all I have for you guys today. Comment below, let me know what you guys think. You know, if you guys recreate this look, tag me so I could share it. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.